on. Chill.
I'm just chilling.
Brother, just chillin'.
Just chillin'.
Let's just chill.
Just chillin'.
If my words could move you effective, to grant access and insight to perspective, I would give you my soul's eye to hold, if only to show you a way to get out the cold.
Okay, yeah. You already know, yeah. Yes. Greetings and salutations to you all. Peace, blessings, and love from wherever you wanted to come from right now. I am so glad that you joined us. 'Tis I, Jus Henry, the original, the uno, the one, the only. So glad that you joined us. I said that already. Sergio,
Yep.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Outstanding, y'all. I have one of Tampa's icons here in the city, okay? Y'all don't know him? I'm mad because I know him well. He's a good dude. Tom DeGeorge, I mean,
How's it going, Henry?
man, all is blessed, bro. I'm taking out a normal format, and I had to bring you right in. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming in on the show, sir.
No problem.
Outstanding. Amid everything going on right now, this is epic for me, mainly because today is the 1-year anniversary of Jus Chillin
All right.
Radio. 1 year ago, there was a grand old hot dog eating contest.
Well, it's a little bit over a year ago.
No, it was last July
3rd.
Or like the
July
3rd.
3rd.
Yeah.
So just a little bit over. So yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. So
Yeah, we didn't get to do it this year, but
yeah.
you'll have that different times right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we're working through it.
yeah,
We're gonna touch base. We're gonna talk on it. We're gonna
All
talk
right.
on it to extent. First things first. Under normal circumstances, we go ahead and set the mood with a little ditty. We bringing in some C. Renee, aren't we?
Absolutely.
C. Renee is one of my favorite people here in the city. You know what I mean? One of those people that gives you a hug.
She's
and
the best.
What? Ah, she sure is.
she's the best.
Oh, I love her. So we're gonna play
I love myself.
I love myself because I love her. She loves herself. Let's love each other. You already know. We're just chilling.
Just chillin'.
I love my head, I love my eyes, I love my legs, even love my thighs. I love my nose, my lips, I dig. I love my feet, even though they big. I love my toes when I gotta get them dig. I still love them even when I gotta keep them hid. I love the way my hair, it falls, the color of my skin. Man, I love it all, yeah. It took some time for me to figure out, I must confess. It's no one else's job to figure out my happiness. I gotta be okay with what looks back at me. And now my life is great 'cause I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I fall up on the scene. My boots mean. I got no attitude with your race, the clothes you wear or your face, the music that you choose to listen to or whom you wish to suck face. Cause what people say about me, none of my business. If they don't like what they see, well just get your tea and baby keep sipping, yeah. It took some time for me to figure out I must be fair. No one else's job to figure out my happiness. I gotta be okay with what looks back at me. Life is great 'cause I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love me, I love myself, I love me some me. I love me, I love myself, I love me some me. I love me, I love myself, I love me some me. I love me, I love myself, I love me some me. It took some time for me to figure out I must be fair. No one else's job to figure out my happiness. I gotta be okay with what looks back at me. Life is great 'cause I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love me some me.
Just chillin'.
Yes, yes. That's my friend, C. Renee. Because, you know, it's always a good chance to get, it's good to take opportunity when you get a good song to uplift your spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always, get that in on a Saturday morning when you want to, kick off some good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Tom, that was interesting that you were about to show some good things. That's dope. Because I like how she reaches out to people, though. You know what I mean?
She does.
She includes everybody. It's like
She's
this
awesome.
is the city, and it's awesome, and it should energize like that. Nonetheless,
She's got good spirit, man.
we got to keep it around. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump right into normal format here. We just chilling. So all the chillers and chillettes that normally are here with me, we're just gonna go ahead and talk. Today is July 8th, 2020. The year of our dragon. I'm just playing. I don't know. I think it's gonna be good today. So we got Coca-Cola Day is today.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know if you like Coca-Cola or anything because I don't usually drink like.
Soft drinks?
Well, actually, one person turned to me one day and was like, why you like drinking things that are darker than you? And I'm like, huh? And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's not nice. So from then on, I really stay away from like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Anything.
You only drink things that are lighter than you?
Yeah. Like juices, like straight 100% juice. It's different colors, so they are in retrospect, in the spectrum, lighter than myself. Okay, so yes.
All right.
Yeah, man.
What's the harm in it, though?
It's just
Why would somebody say
the processing of through the body, just like with coffee. They're just like, yeah, for some it's good, for some it's not good. For me, I don't really. Yeah.
But if it's darker than you, then it's going to be bad for you?
No, it was just
somebody acting a fool.
right, and it
And that
actually
caused you to
infiltrated
stop
my entire
drinking
life. It created a habit,
So they
and
forced
here I
you to
am.
drink something. Now you don't drink something you liked before.
But my urine is crazy good though. Like
That's
it's
good,
crazy clean. Like I'm
As long as you got clear urine, that's all that
no
matters.
kidney problems right now. You know what I mean? I got some joint issues.
That's good.
Yep, joint issues. I got some old knees. No, I have some old knees, bro.
Mine are
Happens
starting to
with
pop.
age.
I got football knees, man. My joints don't even like to work what they supposed to.
My knees, my ankles.
Take
Yes,
long
ankles.
walks.
From when I used to box and stuff, from running stairs, and
Yeah.
I mean, my hips.
Oh man,
Shit's all messed up. My lower back. It's bad. Getting
Dude.
old sucks.
well, it happens
sure.
one day at a time.
Yep.
Can't even stop it. But hey,
Nope.
I'm appreciating every gray hair I'm gaining.
Oh yeah.
Every last one. It is also Math 2.0 day. I think it's the new
The
format,
new
like
math.
the fourth grade.
Nobody likes that.
that
math.
no one likes, but I didn't research
Was
it
it
because
Common
of the
Core? Is that what it was called?
Out of sheer frustration of
Oh,
not
but-
trying to have to decipher their website or whatever to try and figure out what they were, I said, you know what, let me concede this to them. I'm just leave it alone. Whoever it is, 2.0 day. Me, I like math that I can write it out and explain it. Boom.
I understand the way I used to do math, and it's
Yeah.
worked so far.
Yeah.
My math is never wrong, so
Outstanding. See? If it ain't broke.
I know how to count.
Exactly. That's why I look at it so funny. Like, how do you tell me? Shut up, Henry. All right. It is Scud Day. Savor the comic. Unplug the drama. Scud Day.
What?
Yeah.
Savor the
Savor the comic
like
like a comedian
comedian. Okay.
and unplug the drama. So I'm thinking it's just play on words. Oh, we're celebrating.
Was there like beef going on in
messing with
the
people.
comedy world that we don't know about?
I just think it's just play on words to be able to just say we can mess with
Say
people and
scud.
still.
It's a reason to say scud.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous, really. I'm just going to skip past that.
Silly.
Yep, basically. Nonetheless, I had nothing else for today
Wow, really?
because it was a short list, apparently,
Yeah.
on the website that I use. I don't even, was it holidaysandobservances.com? Shout out. Oh. So what we're going to do next is prepare you guys for what is yet to come. No, I'm just teasing. No, we're going to play some more music. I want some Asia Lorraine. Let's do that. And then we're going to come back in. We're going to have some good conversation because there's a lot going on, guys. We're going to unpack these things, okay? Let's talk about it. Just chilling.
Just chillin', just chillin'.
You know I understand your struggle, and I can feel your pain. Feel like the whole world is against you. Oh,
Just Chillin'. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around. Shout out to Flowhio Radio. Compliments of Spreaker. Thank you guys so much. Also, shout out Crowbar. My home away from home. You all already know. Ladies and germs, chillers and chillettes, we have the Tom DeGeorge in the building here on Just Chillin'. First and foremost, if anyone knows, he's co-owner, also the general manager. Also, I need to differentiate because I don't remember from our first interview, which was last year, guys. Hey, 1 year, woohoo. Political activist or actual politician now? Where are you? What you doing?
I wouldn't say either. I mean, I just think like when you're a part of your community and things aren't right, you have a responsibility to speak up about different issues.
Yes,
so yeah, I definitely wouldn't say political activist. I wouldn't even say politician.
Okay.
When I express frustration over things, it's because I mean it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I think, and there's some good politicians out there, but I think a lot of the times the people that are in office that are supposed to be serving others are serving themselves, and I think that's part of the problem of where we get because the people that are in those seats forget who put them in those seats.
Yeah.
And so at some point, if I do decide to get involved, more so in the community as a, in one of those seats, I still don't think I'd consider myself a politician. I think we got too many politicians
already
in those seats that are doing things for the wrong reason, and we need to get honest community members in those seats that are there for the right reasons.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Greater good. Better than yourself. More than yourself. That's actually the only vibe I've ever gotten from you is the actual just genuine, like, I do not care.
I mean,
you're not going to obstruct me. And I'm really just going to speak my truth.
Crowbar's been open for 14 years.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The reason why I think people respect me and respect the venue is because I've never been selfish about stuff. I've always tried to be giving of my room and work with people in the community and help build people up.
Yes, sir.
I've always been fair with everybody. And then any, whether it be working with the Ybor Merchants Association or the Ybor Chamber of Commerce or the YCDC, I've always been a part of those groups over the last 10 years. I've been part of those groups, and it's never been a paid position. It's always been on my own time doing a lot of work for free because I believe in our community.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, if I ever decide to go into a paid position, it would be because I believe I could serve our community better than anybody else, and I would be doing it for the right reason.
Yes,
and I would feel comfortable taking that money because awesome. I would be doing it for the right reasons, and I would be supporting our community and trying to make sure that a lot of the people who's that?
That is so, Chris.
I'll talk to him. Chris.
Shrug it up, Chris. We're gonna talk to him.
But yeah, I think it's important that people are upset about a lot of different things.
Yes, sir.
And people in our community need to be heard. They need a voice.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Right. We'll see what happens.
Dang. And that's the only thing we've ever seen I've ever felt was just non-restrictive. Just being able to just respect the vibe, respect the place. Don't destroy why would you
shit where you eat? However you want to find
I was trying to find
that's the one thing I don't like is when somebody trashes my place.
Right,
that's definitely going to piss me off.
Yeah.
Actually during this, we've been shuttered for 4 months, and there's been many times I've gone to come in, and the entire side of the building's tagged up, and it's just like, man, I got enough shit to worry about right now without people just taking a dump on the place while I'm trying to clean up and get back open. So, but you're always going to have people out there that want to tear down the wrong things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? I'm not the one. I'm not the one that you should be trashing.
Not at all.
There's
In
other
no
things
way.
to trash that probably deserve it a lot more than my place.
We're trying to build this up, man.
Yeah.
Trying to get this thing better. I actually had some visions on that before. I had some moments where I was like, man, if I ever made it big, do you know what I would do? I'd come back to Crowbar and we'd trick out the whole stage. Then we'd make the back patio an actual like stage up there. And reinforce it, just to make.
I built a stage back there.
That's what I'm saying.
I built another stage back there I didn't build it. Dave Drake and Michael Rodriguez and Jen Pomeroy built it because I've been trying to find stuff for everybody to do. And so we built another stage out back that we put a roof on. Yeah, it's got a roof on it, and we put a privacy fence across the back.
What?
I got all the time in the world right now, so I'm trying to make it nice. And we did a lot of work inside too. But then the whole thing is there's no money coming in. Yeah. So what I did was, I think it's been well publicized that they didn't offer very many grants. I did get a lot of the emergency loans because I was quick about it. I applied for anytime anything came up, I applied for it the first day it came out. So I got a good amount of money. But once again, these are loans. I got to pay them back. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a tough pill to swallow when your government forcibly shuts you down and then makes you take out a shitload of loans. That being said, I did use some of the money to make improvements to the building that I've been wanting to do. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of pumping the brakes on stuff because after this last shutdown, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I really don't see us getting open for a long time. Yeah. I really don't. I waited that last time because, number one, I felt like as soon as they opened the bars, people were going to go crazy. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of all that nonsense. Right. Because when I slide in, I want to do it the right way, and I want everybody to get it out of their system before I go to do that. And so then I tried to do those Road to Reopen concerts, and by then the numbers were, honestly, I was sitting there, I was like, man, these numbers are going through the roof. And I was like, well, hopefully I can at least get these out and actually do these shows, and then I might be shutting myself down again for a little bit so I can figure out what to do, because when you're dealing with a lot of different artists and stuff, what I was finding was a lot of them, it was hard to set anything up because some of them would either have a family member that was at high risk, or they had been exposed through someone else and they didn't know if they were positive. And so any band I was talking to, I'd have at least one band member that was like, yo, man, we can't do it. And so I was like, I started thinking about it. I was like, this is going to be really tough to do anything until this thing's under control. Right. So, and then they took that out of my hands anyway because they shut down all the bars. Yeah. Which, once again, I don't think is necessarily the problem. But I don't know how bad you want to get into this right now.
Oh, no. Actually, we got some. Yes.
Because once we start talking about what they should have done, I could probably talk for 30 minutes. So if you want to take a break,
I'm almost there. Jesus, I love this. Mm-hmm. So what's going on is I was going to say a few things just to set it up. Right? Okay. Well, let's just do this. Let's redirect. All right. So let's go. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the U.S. and social distancing, stay at home was ordered, what all happened to the business since then? I know the shutdown, but what happened as far as you and employees? What did they have to go on furlough or something like that, or was it more
they weren't making clearly what they would by working, but I took as good of care as I could of the employees until just about now. I've been sending them money. Some of it was just to stay home. Then at one point it was okay, let's do some of these projects around the bar, and I'll throw you guys money to keep you going. This last thing where they shut us down again, I kind of had to go to everybody and say, listen, guys, try to find something outside the industry. You know, I don't think there's going to be, you know, I told him, I was like, if you could find a job at a restaurant right now, prior to the last shutdown, I had told him, don't go work anywhere else in the industry because we're trying to get open, you know, and I was like, and if you put yourself in another situation where you're high risk and you get sick, you're just going to be stopping us from get open. Once they told us we couldn't open anymore, I told them, I was like, if I was you guys, I'd go find something outside the industry because even if you could get a job at a restaurant, chances are they're going to shut down the restaurants again pretty soon. So, I mean, the whole thing was I figured we'd be closed for maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
And I figured, well, I can take care of them till then and we'll get stuff done then. But now we're going to be going on 4 months. And it could be another 3 or 4 months for all I know. Yeah. I mean, it could be till next year.
Yeah.
I have no idea at this point because
nobody's taking precautions. Man.
Nobody's taking precautions. The city officials, you know, I don't know if they're not getting the information from the state. I just think a lot of people don't know. And for whatever reason, we're not getting ahead of it. Like, I think at some point you got to stop and you got to get ahead of it.
That's real.
You know, if you look way back, you know, Dr. Fauci, you know, when he was on TV, he would say the virus decides what the timetable is.
When he was on TV.
When he was. I mean, he's still on there, but they took him off quite a bit. But, you know, for me, when this whole thing started and I got involved with that National Independent Venue Association, in a lot of our meetings, we were talking about the virus and COVID. But at the same time, I think, and, you know, as a business owner, but just as a community member, as a person, anytime you're dealing with anything that's going to affect your livelihood, you have to learn about it. So I'm not pretending like I'm a doctor or a scientist or anything, but I can honestly tell you that I have studied, like I've engulfed myself in this virus, in, you know, not watching one channel, but really reading, studying, looking into, trying to decipher what we're really looking at. You know, at the end of the day, when I read between the lines, because you can listen to the president talk and you get one thing. You can watch Fox News, you get one thing. You can watch CNN, you get one thing. You could all of a sudden listen to a doctor talk and you're so totally something different. So unfortunately, in this day and age, we have to kind of take all those things and put them together and try to come up with what makes them the most sense. What once you differentiate it all and put it all together, you read between the lines and you go, this is probably the situation we're in. And no matter which station I listen to or which doctor I listen to, when you really listen, they will tell you that vaccine is going to be at least 6 or 7 more months from now.
Correct.
Once you have the vaccine, you've got you've got to produce it, and then you have to distribute it. So you have to manufacture it and then distribute it. And they already said just to build it up to manufacture it, it's close to a year.
Yeah.
And then you have to distribute it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're lucky, we're talking 2022.
Right.
Now, the other side of that is you have a lot of people that are like, well, the virus isn't that big of a deal. And to those people, I say, listen, whether you believe it's a big deal or not, it's clearly affecting our way of life, our business. So even if you think the whole thing's Hong Kong phooey, like I don't believe it, this is stupid. It's not going to kill anybody. Blah 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 blah. Things are happening for a reason. So for all these like the government conspiracy people, I would think the bigger conspiracy is there's probably more to this virus than they're willing to tell us because they don't want to see any more mass hysteria.
Did we say
than
that?
we already have?
Did we say that already on this show?
I believe so.
I think we did.
I mean, everybody, when I've talked to a lot of like the conspiracy theorist people, I don't know if there's a real name for them, but when I've talked to all the fake newsers or whatever you want to call them, because like you said, I talk to a lot of different people. I have no problem debating and discussing. And I talk to a lot of those people, and it's well, don't you see what they're doing? They're trying to get rid of cash. This is a way for everything to be with credit cards. they're trying to destroy the small business because they by shutting down the bars, most of those are independently owned, and then they can give more money to Applebee's and stuff like that. I don't put anything past our government, and I'm not saying that they won't take an unfortunate situation to help position themselves with other things they want, like maybe getting rid of cash. Because clearly when you get rid of cash, anytime somebody uses a credit card, your business got to pay on the credit card. The banks get richer, but I think that's one of those things where that this virus is actually serious, and we do have to get away from touching certain things. So for them, they're like, well, if this is one way to help us get rid of cash, we at least have to look at a positive in that. But that doesn't mean that that they're making up about the virus. But, I mean, you can't make up all the bodies that are going into the ground.
But getting rid of cash, right? So what is that? Here's what I guess as far as getting rid of cash, because we're the reserve currency. If we get rid of cash, we still, as a country, are the reserve currency. So therefore,
but they could track you easier because everything would. I mean, they could. They would.
Yes.
When it's easier to figure out who spent money where, what's happening. I get it. But I think anybody right now that still doesn't believe that this virus is a problem is in severe denial. Like, it's a problem, dude. It's a problem. And it's going to be a problem for at least another 2 years. And anybody who has any reservations about, this will be over in a couple months or anything like that, I keep telling people, you better get your head out of your ass, because we're going to be dealing with this for a long time.
It's people's attitudes towards it. Like, it's they
still don't believe it.
What is it? Invincible? Feeling invincible? They feel untouchable? Like, yeah, whatever. I hear it. I see it. TV, whatever. Mom's scared, but I don't really care. I'm going to still live my life the way I want to.
Yeah.
And it's so stubborn. It's so dense and so, like, unnecessary. Like,
well, I mean, the whole thing is, like I said, if anybody who knows anything about it knows that it affects mostly older people.
Yeah.
And people with underlying conditions, but it's also killed people our age.
I mean, there's younger people. The numbers of younger people are going up now.
Right. I mean, working with different artists from all over the country.
Yes, sir.
We've had people that have come to the club that are dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That died from this thing.
That's so terrible.
And the other thing I would say is I remember a little bit over a month ago talking to people and everybody going, yeah, but do you know anybody who's had it? You know anybody who's had it? I haven't known it. Dude, everybody's getting it in our, but you know what I'm saying? Like a good month to 6 weeks ago, people I would talk to at work when we were working during the day would say, but I don't know anybody locally that's got it. And I didn't either. Now all of a sudden, everybody locally is getting it. I mean, has anybody died yet that I know locally? Not yet. But I know a lot of the guys that have gotten it have gotten really, really fucking sick.
Jeez.
Where they were just like, dude, I was really sick.
That's terrible.
And then, if that person were to get their mom sick or their dad sick, they probably would die.
Yeah.
So I just think that kind of empathy should be important to more people. Where you go, I don't want.
Isn't taught though. Compassion and the community vibe is not taught, sir.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that further. I promise. Okay. Next question. I know you saw an uproar. I know you saw an uproar when the reopening had canceled. I was saddened as well, but I kind of regrettably expected it, right? Mm-hmm. Can you describe the changes to the business plan so far that you were describing?
Well, as far as the reopen goes, originally the reopen was supposed to be, people that bought the T-shirts in advance, and then they would come to the two shows, and we had a show scheduled for June 20th and a show scheduled for June 27th. And then that day on the 20th, I had found out that a couple of my employees had made contact with employees from another venue locally that tested positive. And so at that point, I had given all the artists my word that it would be safe. There'd be nothing to worry about. So once I had that information, I had to cancel on that day. and I think most people understood. I tried to reschedule to basically do the same thing, but I split the bands over 3 days, which would have been July 9th, 10th, 11th, because I figured, well, that's less artists on each day. It's less people on stage. It's a little safer.
Right.
We'll invite 50 people to each one. And then shortly after that, the governor pulled the plug on all the bars. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do them as a stream, which it's tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. They'll be streaming. The Bricks offered to do a watch party. There was a couple places that offered to basically do watch parties because it is a live stream, so you can watch it anywhere.
Right.
But the Bricks, we talked, and they were basically like, what if we did this, this, and this? So they asked if they could stream it in their events room, and then they would also give $1 to each drink they sold, and they're going to try to show it all 3 nights.
That is so clever.
cool.
Like,
you
know what I mean?
They're going to put the Venmo and PayPal information on every table in there so people can give. And then I've got like 10 different people streaming it for me as well. So Tampa Sessions is helping with it. And Tampa Sessions, Joe Giannotti, he donated the camera equipment to me.
Yeah.
And he actually told me, he was like, you can just keep this. He's like, keep it as long as you want. Because I had told him that my new business model was to stream all shows going forward. I felt that there was a big need for that. So he's streaming it. Symphonic Distribution's helping stream it.
Oh, that's dope.
Broken Mold's helping stream it.
Oh, wow.
Moon Goddess, Gasparilla Music Festival. Like, I've got a lot of people helping me stream it.
But of course.
I don't know how many people watch it, how many people won't. We'll see. I never wanted to do the stream. My whole thing was that I wanted to stream, but I didn't want to stream until we could have people in the room, and it would be a real show. And that was basically the new business model, and I'm going to talk about it on the stream tomorrow, but I can talk about it here. The new business model was basically turning the main room into more of a listening room, where once like you would come in, you can't order from the bar anymore because I'm trying to follow the CDC regulations, and then I was trying to go above and beyond. So I also bought thermometers, do temperature checks at the front door.
Wow.
We check with people and we ask them the questions when they come, and when they come in, they go right to their table.
Right.
Mask up when you come in. When you get to your table, mask down. Somebody will come to your table. You got to do your drinks on the table because that's what they told us you're supposed to do. And then if you do want to socialize, we would ask people to pull their mask up and go out to the beer garden and talk out there because we have the beer garden, and that's an open air area, and as long as you're social distancing, people can talk out there.
Right.
When the show's ready to start, just like you would at like a comedy show or any sort of performance arts center, you would go back to your table, and then our new model that I came up with was just telling people, because the main thing with the virus is, and that's why they're coming down so hard on the bars, is it's not live music that spreads it or alcohol that spreads it. It's intimate socialization in spaces that are not open air. So my whole thing was, well, when we do the show, people have to be seated at their table and they can't talk while the performance is going on.
Right.
And somebody says, what do you want to do? What are you going to do if they get up and they start talking and stuff? I would say, I do the same thing that we do when we host comedy at the bar and when we've done acoustic unplugged stuff and intimate storyteller stuff. I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff at the bar. And so I would just go to the table and say, excuse me, you can't talk during the performance. You have to go outside, like we've done a million other times. And that's the whole thing I've been trying to explain to people. Is that as fun as a 400-person sweaty balls of the wall concert? No. But can we do stuff like that right now and get through this thing? No. And that's the whole thing. I think a lot of businesses, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a bar, whether you're a music venue, a bowling alley, a movie theater, you've got a lot of people that are trying to do the minimal amount and comply with the CDC regulation.
Right.
We're never going to get out of this thing by that.
Even what they would depict as minimal is still not enough.
It's not enough. We got to be doing more than we're being asked to do and adjusting our business models to, what do they call it? A new normal. I think these people in our industry and not just our industry, but the customers, the people going to the beaches, I think everybody forgot there's supposed to be a new normal. Everybody's like, no, we're just going to do the same old shit we were doing.
Force it to go back the way we
like
it.
And it's not going to happen. And until everybody figures that out and goes, you know what? I can't do the same shit that I used to do because if I do, we're never going to get out of this.
Right. Maybe
and
I'm
I
not
know
in
that's
control.
a tough pill to swallow.
Oh, yeah.
But the way this thing is, until we get the numbers way down,
Yeah.
and there's a vaccine, and then the manufacture and the distribution, this thing's going to keep coming around.
Well, even if
It's going to keep coming around, and
even
it's
if they're saying
going to be
it's-
seasonal.
even if it's saying that it's plateaued, I'm not, or even degraded a little bit, I'm not pleased. I need this to be a downward trend, like a constant,
Very far down.
downward trend.
And we're not there right now.
because of people's being stubborn. Like, seriously, it's just strictly about how stubborn people are, because of the fact that everybody's forcing socialization. Like, you're forcing the fact that I just can't. I'm stir crazy. I can't. I'm like, no, listen, calm down. This is all in your head.
Yeah.
Just figure.
It's
You know
not
what I
that
mean?
bad.
Like, just calm down. Like, I've seen the most creative things out of people out of their quarantine. That is so delightful.
I don't
sometimes.
think, I'll be honest too, and this goes back to what I was saying before. I don't think people would go stir crazy if they got some straight answers.
Exactly.
You know what I
like
mean?
that.
Chaos, most chaos is
Yeah.
formed by distrust
Correct.
and fear.
Yes.
So when you've got people that you're telling to stay home, but you're not telling them
Why?
how long they're going to have to stay home, why they're doing it, how long you think it'll last, when this will be over with.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the businesses. When you've got businesses that you've told to close for a month or two
Right.
or 4 like me,
Yeah.
and I didn't do it,
Yeah.
but then you tell places they can open and you haven't reimbursed them for any of the money they lost. You haven't made any real grants available. You haven't explained to these business owners what the end game is
Right.
and how we're going to get out of it. You're going to have some business owners that say, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm going to open up. I'm not going to do 50%. I'm going to do 100% because I don't know when they're going to do this to me again.
And I
You
need
know,
to at
they could
least get
do this
buffer.
again to me again in a month. Or you have some of them that then when they say shut down again, there's places that will shut down for a couple of days and then they open back up without telling anybody. There's some places that stayed open the whole time that I watched that were supposed to shut down. So when you don't give the answers, and then on top of that, there's no enforcement, the whole
That's
thing's
it.
just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
We need people to step in and say, listen, this is the situation.
Yeah.
This is how long we think we will have to do this.
Right.
This is what we're asking from you. This is how we're going to provide financial aid
Right.
at a later point.
Right.
And this is when we think we can get out of this.
Uh-huh.
Even, I mean, and you can say, but we're not completely certain. But
Mm-hmm.
some sort of answer is better than nothing.
Right.
And then the other thing is, when you do it the first time,
Yeah.
which now we're starting to do it the second time.
The second
But
time.
when you went to do it the first time and you say, we need everybody to quarantine, we're going to shut down bars right now, then we're going to shut down restaurants. During that time frame, you better get your asses together and come up with a plan.
Right.
Because when you open the shit back up, and it was very clear to a lot of people that what the hell's going on?
Right.
What's the plan? When are
Everyone's
we
aloof,
redoing
yeah.
this? When do we get to open?
Right.
You know, and then you're watching the places that they let open not
Right.
follow the rules.
Right.
And you're still closed and you're going,
Well,
well,
what?
wait a second. I thought the restaurants were only supposed to do takeout. That restaurant, they're doing the takeout, but then they're eating it right on their front porch. Okay. Then it's supposed to be restaurants at 50%. Everybody seated, and you're watching restaurants open up with jazz bands and people are walking around all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going, wait a second, why are they doing that? Why aren't they getting shut down? Then they finally let the bars open up, and the bars start acting stupid, and rightfully so, then the bars get shut down. But
Yeah.
my whole point is that plan should have been in place from the beginning.
Yeah.
And instead of telling people, I mean, the governor, when he came out both times for the restaurants and the bars, when he came out, it was, you guys can open, and it was like in like 2 days. Who gets ready to open in 2 days and do it right?
Yeah.
Especially
You know what I mean?
Especially if they got
and
good food.
and this is a fact. I know for a fact when he made those announcements, the city leaders were finding out at the same time we all found out.
Oh, wow.
Because I was helping with
Yeah.
the city groups for a while there.
Yeah.
And I'd go, what the hell's going on? He just announced this. And I'd have different people from the city hitting me up saying, did you just see that? Because they hadn't seen it either.
Wow.
And to me, it's like, if you want us to do this the right way, we have to have a plan.
Right.
Like, people need to sit down and go, okay, we're telling everybody to quarantine.
Yeah.
When this quarantine's over, what are we going to tell them? What are the dates we're going to give them?
Right.
I mean, to me, like, going back to what the doctor said.
Right.
He said the virus dictates the time. But let's face it, no state that started opening up did it by what the virus was saying. So if we're not going to listen to the virus anyway, and you're going to open up, you at least better have a damn good plan in place for how we're doing it, who gets to go first. Like, once again.
Yeah, you got to mitigate risk. You got to.
I would shut it down again.
Figure it out.
And the second time around, I would say the restaurants are going to open on this day. And while we were waiting for that day, I would go visit every single restaurant, and I would say, you need to submit a floor plan. We need to see what your new plan is, and we're going to approve it. And then I would tell those restaurants over the next 30 days, we're going to come by. And if we see that anybody is in non-compliance with the floor plan that you gave us, we're going to shut you down. And I would go through all the restaurants and make sure only the good restaurants were opening at that point. And if you couldn't get your shit together, sorry, you're done. Same thing with the bars. I would be telling the bars, listen, when we're done with the restaurants, that's when you're going to be open. You're going to be open on August 15th. And in between now and then, once we've weeded out all the bad restaurants, we're going to go to the bars. We're going to make sure your floor plan's together. Because my plan for my place is way safe. So to sit there and just lump me in with a bar that people are socializing inside and talking inside and doing things inside is not fair to my particular business. The problem is they don't have the enforcement to do it the right way. So maybe going back, you would have said, listen, we don't have enough people to enforce it. We need to deputize some of these business owners or some of the employees. I mean, we've been doing we haven't failed a health inspection in 14 years. Go through different businesses that you see have never failed an inspection and say, listen, we don't have enough code enforcement people to go through, and we know that this industry is hurting anyway. We're going to give a crash course to some of these people and let these people go out and check out these places. Now, not all these ideas are mine, but I've talked to so many people over the past few months. And when I've heard good stuff, I've tried to fish it out where I've said, hey, have we thought about this?
That's a really
and to me, once again, if you run for office for anything, that's what you do. My dad used to say to me, Tom, I don't have all the answers, but I know how to find the people that have the answers. And I can do the same thing. I'm not an expert on all different things going on, not even for my own business. But at the same time, I surround myself, if I don't know the answer to something, I surround myself with the best people that do. And that's what a solid leader does. And then they take that and they disperse all those responsibilities out, and you can move a fucking mountain.
That's right.
Damn it. I swore I told you I could get my point across without dropping an F-bomb. I think that's my first F-bomb. But that's the whole thing. You have to surround yourself with an army of people you can trust with the same vision and trust people and get all that stuff out. And frankly, I just haven't seen a whole lot of that in this year. And that's disappointing. And that's scary to a lot of people because people need leadership. I mean, just in our own Hillsborough County and our city and stuff, everybody's all over the place, man. You know, we got to rein it in. We got to get it under control.
A lot's been coming to light, though, about everything that's happening right now has brought a lot of things to my sight that I didn't really think to pay attention to. I've elevated my game as far as interpretation of politics, which presents me to a further question later. But it's just like I never wanted to take a back seat, but I never figured how to get to the action. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still learning that. So that's why I'm like surrounding myself with those that that can, or those that know, so I can gain this knowledge, man. Because
enough of us don't have a seat at the table.
Yeah,
that's
trying
the
to
whole
get something going, man.
We're all trying to get more involved.
Yeah. If not for me, for somebody can be able to push the issue and stress it out enough so that we can get some change. Because honestly, I'm really interested in the word change when it comes to real change. When people say, yo, we need some real change. We need some change. We need some change. And I'm like, okay.
Man, that's going to take a long time.
Here's the thing. I understand identifying the issues and problems, but what about solutions? Because I'm a big show me how type of guy, you know, because you only have to show me how one time and I'll show you how to do it so I can make sure that I'm doing it right.
Right.
And I got it. Let's go. And let's go. We could go to war with that. And it's I took that and I'm still trying to implement my business plan, and I don't want to lose ground, but at the same time, I don't want to like seem like a step on either. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to learn, and I'm just making sure I gain knowledge. That's why I asked you those questions already.
Right on.
So,
well, I hope I helped.
No worries. Everything you do helps.
Sure.
Even when I come in thinking I'm hot stuff because I put some cologne on, right? Come in. I'm just joking. I'm not egotistical. But then you come in and then all I see is business. Like,
right.
Play can wait. We get business done.
We got to.
That's
what it's funny when you talk about real change and solutions.
Yes, sir.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, it's very easy to get angry about stuff. The hard thing is, what do we do about it and coming up with the solutions?
Yes,
and
sir.
real solutions take time.
Yes, sir.
That's
right.
the problem. And unfortunately, what we see in our society is people just quit.
Yeah.
They just go, you know what? It's just too much.
And they get back to conformity. They get comfortable.
And it is. But it's our society does that to us. Like our government, we get put back for other issues all the time.
Yeah. Like back in our place.
And it's some more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even somebody like me wanting to get involved to help with things.
Yes, sir.
It's hard. This is as far as the civil rights situations and stuff.
Yeah.
This is what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Is mostly positive and the biggest I've seen in my lifetime. You know what I mean? So that's impressive.
Yes, sir.
To see things break out all through the country, and the message, that was another thing I noticed, was that anytime the message tried to get twisted, people stayed on the message.
Vigilant.
Because, when the Kaepernick thing happened, that message, they took that message and they twisted it however they wanted to, and turned it all over the place, and made a mockery and a mess out of it. And even though the conversation was still there, you couldn't find, if there was a room of 20 people, you'd have a hard time finding one person in there that actually understood what the message was supposed to be.
Right.
They really
distorted
it as much as they could.
Yes, sir.
And so it was at least, I don't want to say nice to see, but it was reassuring to see this time around that we've been able to keep the message where the message is supposed to be.
That's real.
That's
real. And
because people don't want the message.
Only thing is, I don't like people that shun anyone outside of the affected race for speaking about it. I've seen so much discord because of that. Like, I really don't like that vibe, but I don't understand it either. So I look back in my upbringing, and my father said there's some things that you're not going to understand,
right? Because
it's not on your wavelength, like it's not your level. It may be beneath you or whatever the case. And so I said, you know what? Is that beneath me, or is that, what is that? What is that mentality like, to take something and still distort it to not be right? Like, come on now. You're trying really, really hard to mess something that can be bigger and better if it was if there was a higher level of cooperation. Like, somebody just, you don't got to be the chief. Just chill. just come in here and let's do this as a common goal. Let's figure it out. Just like you said,
there's a lot of anger, though. I mean, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of, well, I think it's, I mean,
you think anger too?
There's a lot of anger. Okay. You know what I mean? There's a lot of anger. There's, like I said before, about chaos is usually because of mistrust. There's probably a lot of mistrust there.
Yeah.
You know, I think that people want to trust each other, that we all want the same things and we're all in this together and stuff. Right. But at the same time,
there's so much distrust.
I could shut up and listen. You know what I mean? I could shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And then I can take the things I hear and try to affect change from the platform that I have.
Yes, sir.
But there's a time and a place for everything. And I think that there's a lot of people that are just angry right now. You know, and I think I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, those that come to me about this whole situation, I just let them vent.
Sure.
It's mainly my go-to. They ask me my position, and I'm like, well, a lot of it as individuals that are involved in things like this is based in their home, upbringing, so on. And then also their choices as a person to be like affiliated with certain things that may not coincide with the actual goal of the what America is supposed to be, as in the unified citizenship, like unified goals. Like let's all make this even better than it is right now. Instead, it's just confusing, but not.
I think it doesn't. I mean,
not to the bad area for me. It's just like I just worry about my kids mostly.
Yeah,
because I'm used to being by myself. I'm used to being out here.
Yes,
whatever. That's why I fell into music since I got out the Navy.
Yeah,
fell into it. Like I wasn't supposed to do all that. Next thing I know, I got a podcast now. Yeah. I get to bring the man on, one of the best people I know in the city. Like serious,
buddy.
Yeah, serious, bro. Like I don't play around. Like I keep
your circle tight.
And I keep my cool when I am. It's I don't want to misrepresent my name, and I don't want to misrepresent or disrespect those that allowed me here.
Yeah.
So it's real personal for me. I'm a real honor code kind of guy, samurai code.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of things that I see people do amidst all of this, especially the scams happening during COVID. There's people messing with people's bank accounts during COVID.
Yeah.
There's people posing as businesses during COVID. There's so much going on, and it's like, wow, it's exacerbated or focused these ill intents in certain avenues, because everybody has to stay at the house now, because you can't rob somebody coming out of the store because they ain't the store anymore.
Yeah, everything's virtual.
You know what I'm saying? Everything's virtual now, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they'll come after you. Oh, for sure. You got to be real careful.
It is crazy.
Especially a lot of the businesses, that was widely reported, a lot of the businesses when they got their SBA loans.
Yes, sir.
Because then people knew, these places have money in their accounts. They were trying to pull money right out of businesses' accounts. Yeah. I check my account every morning. I didn't notice anything in any of my accounts. Pre-COVID, that's one of the first things I do. Every morning I checked all 3 accounts.
You seem to be a habitual person, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do things extravagantly out of sorts to put your banking information in the stratosphere to the ridiculous end that you can't control or know where it is.
Right.
That's ridiculous to me. And that's why another thing, I can't even say where I get this information on how people handle their bank accounts. Maybe because who I work for, but I can't keep that in. But it's just like people don't think ahead.
Yeah.
Like it's like they got no vision of the present. They're just blind in the present, but their attention is to this past. Like they got all of this regret or all of this distrust, all of this anger. Like I'm like, yo, we got so much to go towards. Like,
yeah.
It's impossible to do it without everyone being focused and going for it, And
that's the problem. There's just a lot of distractions right now. Right. There's a lot of distractions right now.
Yes, they're right.
And mixed messages, and I mean, it's tough right now, man.
Smokes and mirrors, man.
A lot of it.
Smokes and mirrors, man.
A lot of it.
Let me take a break right here. Yo, bruh.
Take a break.
Bruh.
That's
why I love that, man. Let's play some Renard Edwards. He's got a new track out. I got to look up the name, guys. forgive me, but we're going to play
Psalm 118.
Psalm 118. Y'all get focused as we just chill. Yeah.
Just chillin'.
A day that the Lord has made, so let us all rejoice and be glad in it. I got down on my knees and I prayed and thanked the good Lord for such a lovely day. As I read the word, check my attitude, work or play, I'll be in a good mood. I will not let this blessing go to waste. Whatever I do is to celebrate and pray. This is the day the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. So let's all rejoice and be glad in it. The devil is a lie, I'm not buying in. Stay positive today and praise always. 'Cause this is the day the Lord has made. A new day is a marvelous thing. A fresh start, a new page, a chance to start all clean. Not to mention the joy that it brings, like the feeling of having a new song to sing. Now it really don't matter about the daily news, how the day go, well it's up to you. You can stay home or go out to play, but please take a second to thank God for grace. This is the day the Lord has made. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. Mercy endures forevermore and evermore. This is the day the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. So let's all rejoice and be glad in it. The devil is a lie, I'm not buying in. Stay positive today and praise always. This is the day the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. So let's all rejoice and be glad in it. The devil is a lie, I'm not buying in. Stay positive today and praise always. 'Cause this is the day the Lord has made.
Yeah, that actually was Deacon Soul, Larry Young. Shout outs to him for Psalm 118. Now, my good sir, I don't even remember what we playing.
This is Baptized.
Baptized by Chord, my bust. We just chilling, y'all. My bad.
Just chillin'. Just chillin'.
Came out of nowhere. Where the hell you been? And somehow became my end. More than a friend, you do something to me that I never felt. The way you see through me, it's like I'm made of glass. And I'm loving every minute of this ride. It's alright. I don't want this moment to pass. I know I said I wasn't ready, but I lied. Just gotta let my inhibitions fly. Take me to your situation. So I know it's real life. Can't believe we stayed up, cause it usually runs. And now I know just what I'm made of. Unwhispered words, yet you know what I think about. Put us together and the world will watch out. We could do some damage, let's be careful, let's be smart. You're lighting all my energy, could soften up the heart. Take me to your water, 'cause I wanna be baptized. I don't wanna be alone any longer. You're right by my side. Security in your eyes. It's like poetry when you smile. I can't see me with another. And where have you been all alone? Take me. Without you, I just can't go on. So I wanna go to your water. Where the
Yes, yes, yes. We're back on Just Chillin' with Just Henry. We got Tom here hanging out of the Crow Bar, Ybor, Tampa, Florida. El Capitan in the building with his big old beard, which is surpassed by Tom. Finally, we got somebody with a bigger beard.
I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
You're holding it down. Thanks.
Trimmed it. I've been trimming it.
How many years you been working on that?
I've been trimming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stopped growing like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then I started trimming it.
I hear you.
And now it looks like shit right now because I've been doing the quarantine thing and can't find any place to. A lot of places
you right.
won't trim your beard right now.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
because it's
Is
too
it
close
beard
to your mouth.
To your mouth.
So I'm just like, well, go back to being a grizzly.
Being a grizzly. There's nothing wrong with it.
Not worried about it.
I like
You know
it.
what I mean?
Yep.
One of these
like
years, when I lose my hair on top, that's when I'll go grizzly.
Yep.
I'll go Grizzly Adams there. It'll be like really nice. It'll be looking, they'll be braided down the sides. No,
Like a Viking.
like a. It would be dope though. Little trinkets, people's.
Put them like right here.
I know, right? People's teeth that I pull out.
Yeah.
Have them
Oh.
hanging. No, that wouldn't work.
It's a decoration.
Shark tooth. Ooh-ha-ha. All right, so back to that's shark bait. That
Yeah,
was
shark bait.
Back to Tom. We got some more questions because, well, it's not too many. It's probably going to be like one maybe, and it's going to last the rest of the show maybe.
Sure.
And even if it doesn't, we still
talk.
got some other stuff. Let's see. Were you told any info as to why you were not able to get the PPP loan? Like any?
I got the PPP loan.
So that's the one you were. Which one were you not able to?
I didn't get the PPP loan in the first round.
The first round.
I don't know why. They gave that money to a lot of people that shouldn't have got the money. I got the PPP loan in the second round. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with the PPP loan that people don't understand is it wasn't designed for places that are totally shuttered. So, I mean, I got that loan.
What does that mean by shuttered?
Closed.
Like bar.
Thank you.
Oh, you mean
we've
closed
been
permanently?
closed.
Yeah, well, no.
Well, no, we've been closed.
It's not open air.
No, I mean closed. We haven't been open since March.
Oh, since March. That means shuttered, as in like literally
Shuttered.
closed.
Like, we haven't been open since March. So
Okay.
the PPP loan, and the reason why everybody talked about the PPP was because it's not a loan. It turns into a grant if you use it properly. Here's the problem. The PPP, in order for it to be a grant, in order for you to use it properly, 75% of it has to go to your payroll.
Okay.
So think about that. If I'm not open, my staff isn't working.
So how are you paying these people?
On top of that, they told you if you wanted the PPP, you had to keep your staff on the payroll. So I kept my staff on the payroll, and then when I finally got the PPP in like early May, after I had already been paying my staff for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I thought when I got that money, I'd be able to use it for the money I already paid them. When I got it, I come to find out that you can't use it for anything
That you've
you already
already
spent on. So they gave me $19,500, but 75% of that had to be used for the staff. So I basically just wrote checks to the staff, which means, and not that I have a problem with that because I wanted to take care of my employees.
Yeah, of
but
course.
if you really look at that grant, I was only able to use like $4,500 of it towards my bills for the business, which doesn't even cover 1 month's rent.
Wow.
So that was the only grant I got, and then like I said, I got the EIDL loan, which was like $155,000,
Okay.
but that's a loan.
Yes,
I got to
you
pay it back.
Yeah.
And then I took out another loan against my liquor license that was another $50,000, and I took out a personal loan while I was waiting for the government loans for $25,000. So all I got was loans. I mean, I got a lot of loans, but they're loans.
Yeah.
And a lot of businesses didn't even get that. And my whole thing, going back to, I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I think what they should have done was they should have told businesses, listen, you're going to be closed for this many days. In the interim, we want you to put together a new business model. We're going to inspect it. If you do what you say you're going to do, you'll be able to stay open. You won't make the money you were making, but at the end of the year, we're going to look at what your 2020 numbers were, and we're going to compare them to what you did in 2018 and 2019, and then we're going to give you a grant at the start of 2021 to help reimburse you for the money you lost. Instead of just giving out all this money, which a lot of it didn't go to where it should have gone. And then even, just think about this too, even the stimulus checks. What, if you're trying to support small businesses, here's an idea. Only give out the stimulus checks to the people that were affected by the virus, meaning people in our industry that lost their jobs. Give them the stimulus checks. The people that have not been affected by the pandemic, that are still working, still have money, are still doing all right, might not wait to give those people their stimulus checks until the small businesses have opened back up. But what they did was they gave that money to those people before the small businesses even opened back up, and then all those people used those checks at Amazon, Publix, Home Depot, Target, Walmart. I mean, they used these checks at all the big box stores.
Oh, yeah.
So I just don't see, how are you stimulating the economy back up when the small businesses aren't even open again yet, and you gave all this money away? I would have waited. I don't think anybody who wasn't affected by the virus needed the money at that point. Once you get the small businesses up and running again, here's an even better idea. Give people the money and tell them you can only use this at an independently owned business if you really wanted to help the small business entrepreneurs that are suffering right now.
They don't want that.
But yeah, I mean, they might not. I don't think honestly, I don't know if it was that they didn't care or they just aren't thinking because their heads are up their ass.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they don't even get it because most of these people have never even been a small business owner.
Right.
And then when you're lumping all the grants and all the money into what you're saying is small business. I mean, if you're the owner of the Lakers and you can get one of these grants and you get like $1 million, you should have never been a small business in the first place.
Right.
There was a lot of people in the first round that got either the PPP or the emergency loans or different grants that should have never been eligible in the first place.
Right.
The money never truly went to small businesses,
That needed it.
to the mom and pops places that really needed it. You know? And so that's what I mean. If we're going back now and we're trying to redo everything, I think we have to learn from the mistakes that we already made. And with that National Independent Venue Association, I talk to different senators every week. I've talked to Marco Rubio's office. I've talked to Rick Scott's office. And unfortunately, when you talk to these people, and I think that comes from, the majority of these people, I don't think have ever really wanted for anything or really been in trouble.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't know.
They can't relate
They don't
to
get
their-
it. They don't
their actual
understand
constituents
what
like us.
they don't understand what a real normal person
goes through, yeah.
deals with on a normal basis.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that's what my whole point is. There's not enough of those people in office.
To pose a question, I actually am still learning politics and how politics affect me daily. Right, I mentioned that, but how is that supported or enforced by politics? Like, how do you figure like what I should know about politics to affect my daily? Like, how does that incorporate itself, if you wouldn't mind?
What you should know about politics, or what
Yeah,
you should
well,
know
like-
about what you should be watching, or the number one thing I mean, I talk about voting all the time.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm 46 now. I would say I didn't really start paying attention to this stuff till I was in my early 30s.
Okay.
Because that's when I started owning my own business.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, as I've gotten older, I think most people only vote in November,
Okay.
once every 4 years. Like, I don't think a whole lot of people vote locally.
Yeah.
If they do, they might vote for their mayor
Yeah.
or something. But, I mean, there's so many different – there's your city councilman.
Yeah.
There's county commissioners.
Yeah.
There's the sheriff.
Yeah.
There's all these things that we can vote for. Our judges, you know. And I think people tend to just vote. I got to vote because of the president. You know, a lot of the stuff that gets decided starts locally.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like enough of us get involved on that local level to enact change right in our own backyards.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, they just vote for president and they think that's the end of it. But the problem is there's little Trumps all over the place. You know what I mean? And to anybody, if they support him, I apologize. But when I say a little Trump, I don't think you can be more disconnected than him. I mean, the dude's been a billionaire his whole life. You know, so once again, if you're a supporter of his, even if I'm trying to make your argument for you, I don't know how he can really speak for you because he's never wanted for anything in his life. Now, you could say, yeah, but look at him, man. He built an empire. But he didn't. He didn't. It was his dad that had all the money. You know? Now, you could say that
He did some good work with a lot of
he
money.
did some good work with a lot of money, but did he really? I mean, or did he just learn how to play a little bit more of a crooked game better than others? I would venture to say the dude's got a lot of lawsuits against him. Now, I've been in business for 14 years, and I've had 3 or 4 lawsuits for trip and falls and stuff like that. But I've always taken care of them. You know what I mean? You're never going to find anybody that's going to say, oh, that time at Crowbar and that day, he did everything he could to screw me over. Like everything, my insurance has taken care of every little thing. And like I said, there's been 4 or 5 times that's happened at the bar, and I came out and said, yeah, you know, this person tripped over that. That's what happened. He's got like tons of pending lawsuits against different businesses. He had, you know, I mean, it's just
Not
a
the
bad
life
look.
for me,
It's
man.
just a bad look.
That's too much attention. I couldn't do it.
Too much.
I couldn't do it.
It's the reality presidency.
Trump. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still got about $700 left of that $1,200 stimulus.
Save it.
I'm saving.
Save it to send to a small business.
I needed mine,
when
man.
the time
That's
comes.
gone. I'm hoping we get
I might
another one.
save it for my lawyer.
There's supposed to be another one coming, isn't there?
I've heard the hints, the winds of it, but
I
I'm
thought
not
they
really
were.
like seeing anything.
Let me tell you, I'll
about
give you a little secret about that too. Check your taxes in a couple years. Because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not, that's not free money.
Yeah, no.
Can't
We're all going to pay for that. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
We're all going to pay for that.
Except for the big corporations, they got tax breaks.
They will. But I'm saying, like, just the normal people, when you go to check your taxes in a couple years, that money's going to be there. You'll see.
Yes, sir. Wow.
You're going to say, why didn't I get much back this year? Because of all those stimulus checks that went out.
Yeah.
Trust me. That you spend at the big box stores.
Yeah. I think that there's what they should do. They should have a couple of weekends where it's mandated where Walmart has to be closed and Target has to be closed.
Well, another thing I said when I was
People
on the
gonna line
phone.
up and pick it that Walmart and Target need
Right.
to be open.
Well, that was another thing that I had said to Marco Rubio's office a couple weeks ago. I said, you know, I know under normal situation this would be considered socialism, but since we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's a completely different situation, and I was trying to get them, there's this another act called the Restart Act that we're trying to get them to put into CARES 4, which is a much better thing than the PPP. And we were going back and forth about that, and they said, well, it's just so hard because we already gave away $1 trillion and all this. I'm thinking, the key word is you gave it away because you gave it to the wrong people. It is what it is. I don't want to go back to that. But I did say to her, I said, have you guys thought about any businesses that are actually making more than they've ever made before because of the pandemic? Like putting a tax on them and then filtering some of that money back into the small business community, since we're all taking a massive hit.
Even give us like a couple of weekends a month where it's tax free for small businesses.
Something.
So
they should do something because they haven't done enough for us.
No,
that's for sure.
If anything, they made it worse.
It's been real bad.
I think you're right there. Wow. I'm so glad you came through, man. You guys, let's keep going.
All right, what's the next one?
So, that actually we always mesh the conversation, and the conversation modulates like water down in Babylon.
Be water.
Be water.
Yes,
Did you watch the Bruce Lee doc?
Yeah,
I'm so.
It's very
excited.
powerful.
Is it?
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
I gotta see it.
I like that and different quotes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And very zen.
Yes.
And that was a great 30 for 30. What a
Okay.
great. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that much. I mean, I've always watched Bruce Lee in movies and stuff, but I didn't really know a whole lot about him and and what a great documentary. At the very end, I don't even really think he says the be water until like the very end of the documentary.
Very cool.
It comes in and he's doing something like this. He's doing an interview and he says, the water becomes whatever it's in. If it's in the body, it becomes the human body. If it's in a teapot, it becomes the teapot.
Yeah.
He says, be water. And he just basically
It can
saying you
crash
have
or it
to
can flow.
Or does it flow?
Right.
Yes.
Saying you have to adapt to whatever your surroundings are. Whatever your surroundings are, you have to adapt to that situation.
That's right.
And then you can flow through it.
That's right.
And I was like, damn, dude, I needed to hear that right now.
Yeah.
I
That's
felt
real.
that. I like inspiring.
Quotes.
I like you to inspire, but you yourself have to be willing to be inspired to inspire others.
That's true.
And so anything I can grab and I can pick,
Yes.
I'll take that to strengthen myself to spread it out.
Absolutely.
To people,
As well you should.
So positive.
Because that's what being a human being is. You're supposed to try
Pick
to
each
be
other
better.
up.
Might as well, right?
Not
Like
push
instead
each
of
other
stepping
down.
on each other's heads.
A lot of stepping on people's heads right now.
Get out of here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Need to get away from that.
Get off me. Serge, man.
Michael Joe May.
Michael Joe May, man.
Some music.
Throw it at him. What is it called?
This is the Watch Out.
Watch out now.
Watch out now.
Watch out. You just chilling.
We got here today. Yes, sir. Let's talk about these healthy women of the world. I'm talking about that thick, chubby. And if you slim thick, best believe I'm gon' hit. Yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong with a thick girl. I love it all. That curvy. That boy. Yeah, watch out for that thick girl. 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 Drop it down low, work it slow. 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 Big girl, big girl. You love this face, sick girl. Work out, get it, girl. I love me a nice little fit girl. Do you wanna come over? Said that you do yoga. Baby girl, just roll over. Rub on your booty real slow. Spread on big girls, got a real pound cake. A big girl, throw the cake in your face. I love all flavors, don't discriminate. Just arch your back, your booty a taste. Watch out for that thick girl. 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 Drop it down low, work it slow. 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 A thick girl just so curvy. Add a couple pounds, make it all worth it. I love big girls and I can't explain. That pound cake made me want to scream her name. She confident, showing all her features. Feel like having grabbing on her creases. I'm telling you, ain't nothing wrong with a thick girl. She P-H-A-T. girl. She fat. Work it out. Watch. She fat. Get on the foot of girl. Watch for that girl. She fat. Watch for that girl. She fat. Get on the foot of girl. She fat. Look in the mirror, girl. She fat. Watch. I love this girl. Who's fat? Watch. Turn the thing around, girl. Who's fat? Ow.
Outstanding. Offline, you guys, you just don't know.
It's always something.
The jewels. We are just chilling here with Just Henry.
Just chillin'.
Flow Ohio Radio. Thank you. Spreaker. Thank you. Tom of Crowbar.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, as we normally do when we try to fill the time, let's have a little bit of the news. On with the news. Pence says CDC changing school reopening guidelines after Trump called them tough and expensive. Trump says he will withhold education funding if schools are not reopened. Crazy man. The CDC's readiness assessment to monitor the recommended practices includes a multi-page checklist schools can follow. It covers regular cleaning procedures, daily health checks of staff and students, for limiting contact throughout the school day, and for responding if someone does become infected. Tom, your thoughts on the school reopening?
Well, it's my wife's a school teacher. She's dying to get back to her students.
My mom as well.
And just like we were talking about the other day, because it's the same thing. I'm dying to get reopened. Mm-hmm. But as you get closer to that time when it's supposed to happen, you look at it and you go, what's the plan here? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the plan? Like, the stuff you just said sounds freaking horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what is the plan? And unfortunately, a lot of the people, I think, that are trying to make these decisions, I'm sorry, it's a strong thing to say, but they just seems like they don't know what they're talking about. When our own governor says, well, the thing is, these kids, they're no risk, and why shouldn't we have school? Because the kids aren't going to get sick, and they can't get sick. Who does this guy think is teaching the students? Like, the teachers could get sick, and if the children are asymptomatic, the kids, youngest kids, spread this virus more than anybody. They're little germ mongers that could get
touching everything.
So this is my whole point. What do you do?
I was just wondering if he was going to bring him in.
It's the truth.
Because it's impossible if even if he has children. He does not care for them.
Governor DeSantis or Trump? Or
anyone.
Both of them.
Anyone.
Right.
You say both, I say anyone.
All of them.
All of them.
But the whole thing is, what is your plan? Right. Once these kids go into school, what is the plan if the numbers are still where the numbers are right now? How are you going to stop every teacher, faculty member, custodian? How are you going to stop these people from getting sick if all these kids are touching up? They don't know.
Cost money.
And it's going to cost money.
It's going to cost money.
And they're already trying to cut corners.
A lot of attention is going to need to be made. And just like you said, somebody has to enforce it.
Right.
Somebody's got to make sure checks and balances.
Or else you're just going to have schools break out in sickness.
Rampant. And then here's the thing. Because those children go back to grandma and grandpa.
Get them sick.
Go back to mom and dad, who go back to grandma and grandpa.
If my wife's listening to this, she's going to be upset. She knows, though. She knows it's a trouble.
My mom's a teacher, too.
We want to go back to school.
We want them to go to school.
And we want the kids to go back to school because the kids need to be in school.
Right. But
the problem is, not only are the right people not making the game plans and the decisions, the other people who are our leaders aren't letting those people. There's people that could make, it's just
Better
like when I said
decisions.
earlier,
Yeah.
that I don't have all the answers, but I'll find the people who have the answers. The problem with a lot of our leaders in government right now is they don't like anybody else telling them anything because they want to have all the answers. You don't have the answers. You're not a doctor. You're not a scientist.
Right.
So what you should be doing is shutting up, listening to what they have to say, and then letting these people put these plans into motion.
Right.
But we have leaders that are frankly insecure, that don't want somebody else to take their thunder.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, there's no shame in I think people respect leadership more when you're willing to step back a little bit and organize, observe and organize.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's it. You can surround yourself with a lot of intelligent people.
Right.
And you can use the people the best way you can, and you can still be a strong leader in doing that.
That's true.
You know,
Very,
but
very true.
but yeah, I want to see the schools, man. But how are we going to do it? How are we going to do it?
Because
and
that's
they
gonna
keep
be,
faltering.
You can't. And here's the next piece. You can't just say we're gonna have a buttload of hand sanitizer. We're gonna make sure that everybody has these wipes at the door. We're gonna do the temperature checks. It's not just that. Like seriously, like I took from you posted that you put air scrubbers in the air conditioning.
I did. I put air purifiers in our AC.
There it is.
To make our HVAC systems more powerful, where they're not hospital grade, but they will kill airborne viruses within a certain period of time. But yeah, they should be figuring out where to put the money to make schools safer. But also, like I said, it's just tough because these kids are germ spreaders, man.
They had
and
an
it's
idea.
dangerous.
They had an idea they sent to us where they said you can decide you want the kids to go to school, you want them to stay home remotely, or do you want like a mixture of both?
Right.
The mixture would be like half kids in the morning, half kids in the afternoon.
Me and my wife
my
were talking
mom,
about that.
she was like, I don't like that because that seems to be a lot more work and a lot more hassle as far as me being a teacher, she said. So I was like,
where are you going to find the teachers? Because this was the other thing. When my wife was on the call, they were basically talking to all the teachers, and there were teachers that were like, I want to go back to school. But a lot of those teachers were high risk, and they're like, yeah, but you're high risk. You're probably going to have to do virtual. Then there was other teachers that didn't want to go back because they had pre-existing conditions. So my wife, who wants to go back, she kept on saying to me leading up to it, like, I just want to go back. I want to go back. I told her, I said, listen, you're not going to have a problem because you are low risk. You have no health conditions. You're young. Like, you're going to be a high commodity.
Right.
But the whole thing is there's not that many of you.
Yeah.
Like, so where are you going to find these teachers to do this? And like I said, it's not just the teachers. You got to have the custodians. You got to have the I mean, there's all office work. Like, where are you going to find all these people to teach these kids once you start looking at it and see that 60% of them are high risk? You think these schools are going to want to take the risk of having their teachers drop dead and then getting sued?
Wow.
I mean, or the county. I mean, I don't know. I know from a business, like when they say, oh, don't worry about it, I got insurance. I always say, listen, if something happens, people sue everybody. So they're going to sue the school. They're going to sue the county. They're going to sue everybody. So, I mean, I think you need to have a really good game plan because we do want the kids to go back.
Yeah.
But you know what they want more than anything?
What's that?
And let's just be honest, right here, local, you want to talk about corruption. You know why they want to get these numbers out of control so bad?
Why?
Because the Super Bowl. Because they want the Super Bowl. And they'll sacrifice everything to try to make sure we have the Super Bowl. Wow. If it means shutting down the bar industry, if they thought that would get the numbers down, they'll shut us down for the next 7 months just so they can get the Super Bowl. And then we'll figure out what happens after that. Once everybody gets sick, at least we have the Super Bowl. But I mean, you know,
wow.
I'm telling you,
I didn't even think that far.
The Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I mean, when you look at, you could pull it up on your laptop. The governor, his whole committee to open things back up. There wasn't one doctor or scientist on there. Our mayor wasn't on there. I don't even know if anybody from Tampa was on there, but maybe Busch Gardens was on there. But it was big, Publix.
Yeah.
And then amusement parks.
But that's ridiculous.
Look it up. You could look it up, or you look it up. But yeah, it's people at home look it up. When you look at the governor's committee that was in charge of opening up businesses,
Home Depot was on there.
Home Depot. It was all big box stores, amusement parks.
Yeah, because I was like, why is
I mean,
why is Busch Gardens on here?
Why?
Right.
What is their interest? Right?
Well, Busch Gardens got open before I did.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Is Busch Gardens safer than my little bar? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So
is it because it's open air?
No,
it's because they're big money, man.
Because they're big money, and they were on the committees. They probably donated.
Yeah, exactly. I guarantee
Donated,
there were some campaign donations.
I guarantee it. You can't tell me, even though it's open air, you cannot tell me that something like Busch Gardens,
especially when you're waiting in line to get on the ride,
all the touching and
everything,
kids,
all those metal handrails,
faces.
You're going to be 6 feet apart in line to get on the ride.
And
I'm sorry,
skip a seat on the ride.
And they got those fans going, so when you're standing in line and you're sweating and you got the Corona, you got the fan that's blowing.
I don't care if it's outside. I don't think you could tell me that any amusement park could be considered safer.
No way.
Than any bar. Like, I just don't believe it. Even if it's outside.
At least a bar's finite amount of space we can
but let's talk about it. Like, I have an outdoor beer garden. Mm-hmm. Nobody said to me, well, you can... I mean, they shut down the entire bar industry. Yeah. They didn't look on a business per business basis.
That would cost money, too.
Right. They don't have the enforcement, so they just shut down the whole industry. It's corrupt. It's corrupt business. Jeez. When you're the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, and your whole job is to regulate, and you decide you're overwhelmed, so you're going to shut down an entire industry. Hallie Bashirs, who is in charge of that, is a scumbag. Wow. Because I've been in business for 14 years. I've never had a violation. And then you're going to sit there when your whole job, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. Yeah. I've been paying into you guys for years. Your whole job is to regulate, and because you can't do it, your solution is to shut down an entire industry. Is shameful.
And not even
these are people that it's their livelihood that you're taking away. People that were forced to take out loans that are attached to our homes.
Yeah.
And your solution to me is to shut the whole industry down is shameful.
Yeah.
And trust me, the restaurants that are open right now, that business now, I'm sure that there's plenty of restaurants that are like, whoa, dude, we just want to be a restaurant. There's some of them that didn't try to but what choice do they have when people are coming to them now that used to come for a meal saying, hey, give us, we'll sit at the bar right now. I mean, that industry doesn't go away. All it does is it shifts over to the restaurant industry or it shifts over to house parties. The alcohol, unless you're just going to say we're getting rid of alcohol, if you really think alcohol is the problem.
People are still going to drink.
People are still going to drink. So closing down the bar industry indefinitely, this second time around, they didn't even tell us how long it was going to last.
Wow.
To me, is not the solution.
No.
Let's come up with a solution. Let's get in a
working
group
model,
and come up with a working solution.
Well, now, do you think that a lot of it has to do with, are they grouping you guys in with the clubs?
I'm sure they are. But the whole thing is, listen, bars that are real bars are probably... I mean, the whole thing is the socialization spreads the virus. Yeah. When people are in close quarters talking and not social distancing, that's what's going to spread it. So unless you can figure out a way to do that in your business and still be a bar, it's a problem. But I would venture to say, they could have... They did it for the restaurants with the cafe seating outside and all that shit. Like, open up space outside in front of these bars for people to drink outside. I just don't think... I think that there's a lot of... The show's not long enough to talk about all the different things they could have done besides shut down an entire industry. If you didn't want the nightclubs open, they shouldn't have done it just by the license, because that was the problem. I mean, and it's you can look at it. There's plenty of bars that have restaurant licenses too. Right. In that sense, we see them. There's tons of them open. That's the whole. That's why they call it bar food.
Yeah.
There's a saying, bar food.
Yeah.
It's because there's certain places that are not sit-down restaurants that are bars that then while you're drinking, you might decide to get some French fries or something. Yeah. That doesn't mean that place is a freaking restaurant, dude.
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of places open right now that are licensed as restaurants that are just as much of a bar as a lot of the places that are more of a bar than me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Because there's places all over the city that are open right now that you go, man, that ain't no restaurant. But they serve food, and their license is a restaurant.
And a lot of, I know a couple of places that will get somebody that has a food truck just to park it out front.
Right.
And then
but technically, those people, you're supposed to be licensed as a restaurant.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what I said earlier, too. There's some places that have just said, I don't give a shit, that are open, and there's not enough enforcement to shut them down. So if you wanted to really, like tomorrow, if I was like, I'm going to open up, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Who knows? I could probably get away with it for 3 weeks before anybody actually came up and said, yo, Tom, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. And I'd go, well, what do you mean? And then I'd probably get a warning. Eventually, they would attach it to my liquor license as they'd threaten, and they'd pull my license.
And now 14 years.
It goes back to what I'm saying. What they're doing is not going to solve the problem.
Right.
What you need to do is properly inspect each business, each industry. If you don't have the enforcement to do it, figure out who you could deputize to get more enforcement, and let people make a living.
Right.
You know, before it's too late.
But they don't want to give up. They definitely don't want to give up too much power. They definitely don't want to give up too much leverage, I should say. I don't know. I'm just reaching, but
they just don't know how to do it. They need to figure out how to do it.
It's a community vibe that people are missing. But Sergio, on with the news, Michael, sir.
But of course,
U.S. coronavirus cases pass 3 million.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's unnecessary. It's ridiculous.
Serious.
Should have shut things down last year around November. When I said they should have, I said it's in China and we need to shut down now. They're talking about shutting down the planes. They're talking about shutting down the cruise liners. They're talking about bruh.
Yeah, there's many people that I've talked to that think we're in the second wave right now. That believe we were all sick. No, I'm telling you.
I don't think this is the second wave.
Well, I'm telling you, I was so sick in January.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God.
I had a cough for like 3 weeks.
Our whole staff got it. We were all sick. I was in bed for 4 or 5 days. I had a fever of 104. I was sick. Really sick. And when I went for my routine checkup, the doctor said to me, she says, and this was in mid-February.
Okay.
She had said to me, she says, because they didn't have any testing back then.
Uh-huh.
And she asked me, hey, have you had the flu shot? And I swear to God, exact words. I says, no, but I already had the flu. Man, that's the most sick I've ever been. And her exact words to me, she goes, oh, that wasn't the flu. There's an upper respiratory infection going around, and we're not quite sure what it is yet. She says, but we're going to give you the flu shot anyway. And they gave me the flu shot. And then all this shit hit the fan a month later.
Wow.
And we had this, it was a hardcore fest, and all the bands were from New York.
Okay.
A lot of the people that came in, we had 14 bands that day,
Oh,
and it was packed. I mean, it was sold out.
Yeah.
A lot of the bands that came in were all coughing, and they were sick. Oh. The tour managers were sick. My whole staff got sick. We all got sick. Everybody got sick. I've never seen. And when you're in this industry, things will go, during flu season, things will go through your staff where a couple people are out here and there. I've never seen anything go through the staff like that, where for 3 weeks, I'm having to play, this guy's out today, she's out, he's out. People were getting sick where I'd have one bartender on because at the last second, nobody could work.
Wow.
And it really went through our place. And the whole time I was like, man, I've never seen anything go through the place like that. Jeez. And then things happened, and I started thinking about it in April. Yeah. I was like, I bet you that's what that was, dude. It had to be.
Yeah.
And the more people I talked to were like, man, I was sick too.
Yeah, because
So-
I remember that specifically, I never complain when I get sick. And I was like, yo,
sick.
why have I been coughing for 3 weeks?
It was bad.
And I was thinking I should go to the hospital, but then I said, I
had
started
it real
getting
bad.
better.
Rodriguez had it real bad. Eric King had it real bad. Like a bunch of us got it really bad. And so that makes me think, because they had already said that there was a lot of confirmed cases in the country before they even knew it.
Yeah.
So part of me looks at this, because you have to, once they started realizing what was going on, we had no tests yet. So we don't know if there was a first wave earlier or not. Then you look at those charts. We all did the quarantine, and we still didn't have, when we did the quarantine, we still didn't have the tests.
Correct.
Once we start getting the tests, people start getting sick again, everybody started getting tested. Everything went shoop, way high, right? Eventually it's going to come back down. Eventually. Because everybody, more and more people are going to get tested. Eventually it will start going back down.
Yeah.
But to me, I look at it and I'm like, how do we know we're not in the second? How do we know we're not in the second wave right now? But why does it have to start? That's the other thing. I look at it and go, I'm not betting that next year there won't be a third wave or a fourth wave. Like the antibodies.
We don't even know what this thing is capable of.
Listen, I couldn't even, when I started thinking about it, because I went to go get tested when we had our situation, I tested negative. But when I talked to the doctor, I said, well, I think I might have had it back in January. Can I get the antibody test? And he told me, he said, listen, the antibodies, it will only show up for 3 months. He's like, there's no reason for you to go get the antibody test right now, because it wouldn't show up if it was January. So that's my whole thing. Like, if I'm not going to show the antibodies right now, and they've already said this, you can contract it again. It just won't be as bad as it was the first time. So I could get it again, maybe if I had it before, which, I mean, I don't know what else that would have been. I lost 15 pounds. I had a fever of 104. I was sick. I was really sick.
Oh, man.
My wife wanted me to go to the hospital. I was like, I'm not going. It will break. My fever will break. It ended up breaking the next day when she wanted me to go. But my whole point is, they've never said you can't get it again. They've also said that a different strain could come out next year.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, we're in this right now.
Yeah.
We're not. So hopefully we'll end this the way we started.
Yeah.
I want people to understand this thing's not going away for a long time.
No.
We're in the middle of a serious pandemic that
and people
will
don't
mutate.
Take that term seriously,
Right,
though.
it's serious.
They did not. And
It's bad.
I promise you, Serge is my witness.
It's very easy.
I
to
said
catch, too.
we've got to get ahead of this. Like then
Way
in
behind.
November, like December, way before that, I was like, no, this is ridiculous, because I see all of this happening over here. I'm doing my reports, I'm reading, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. No, we're not doing this. And next thing you know, you start hearing, oh, we're relying on the World Health Organization for their information, and the information is not good. It's not on time. It's this, it's that, and we gave them so much money. Now we're not giving them any money. But I'm really like, that's a little vindictive. I don't know. Either way, I'm just like, y'all, you didn't even have to ask who. You didn't have to ask the World Health Organization. You could have asked just Henry. Bam.
You know, the answer.
We would have saved the world.
Boom.
I'd have been Brad Pitt in
World
War Z, bro. I'd have saved the world, man.
I don't like zombie movies.
God.
Well, see, here's the thing. I cannot stand realistic scary movies.
Yeah,
I don't
those
like
things
scary
are good.
movies, period. But realistic scary movies,
Like shit that would really happen.
that possibly can happen, I'm done.
What about dudes that went out and watched? Remember that movie Outbreak?
Yeah.
When this first happened, there was.
Dude.
I had friends. I was like, man, you.
There's so many things that they were saying in the movies
But
that
what
they
I'm
said
saying-
on the media.
Right.
Like, I'm like, yo, y'all are watching too many of the same
No,
movies
but when
to
we
get
first
write your narrative for that.
When we first quarantined, I had friends that were like, man, I'm watching Outbreak, and I was like,
Gotta
you're a
understand
sick
what
dude.
you're in.
No, I'm like, why would you want to watch that right now? That's got to be.
Probably.
I don't want to watch that
He
shit
wants
right
to freak out.
now.
You
Watching
want to
people
sleep.
falling
It
apart. and
feels
shit.
real right now.
He may
No,
want to
we
freak
got
out
enough
in his
problems.
sleep. It's all good. I'm just saying. It's preparation, though. It's preparation.
Yeah.
Doomsday preppers. Hey,
Yeah,
I'll let you guys.
it's bad.
It always has.
We got it. The only way we're gonna get out of this thing at this point, honestly, is for people to take precautions.
Yes.
And to not
And take it
fight.
seriously.
not buck the system and not fight it, or else we're never going to get out of this.
True.
We'll be dealing
Quick
with this for 5 years.
And too long. You got anything of mine?
Yeah.
What you got? You got pullback?
Let me see. All right.
Come on, Nelly. I'm going to get me one in this show. You already know. What you got for Just Henry, bro? Come on now, Carl.
Oh, you know what? It's not on here. What? Yeah, because I had all your stuff on CD.
Nothing.
How do I not have any Just Henry? This is crazy. Wait a second. Oh, you know what it was? I had it in Synergy. Well, I have Synergy in a cup.
What is all
on
that
here?
Synergy in a cup?
No, I have Synergy in a cup on here. I don't have your stuff on here.
What stuff you got from Synergy?
You were with Synergy.
Yeah, exactly.
Synergy.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a part of it.
The album.
The album? Which album?
You
talking about? Tell me the titles of the
Well,
songs.
the whole
Roll is
thing,
on there.
Synergy means there's two. You guys are in the cup together. That's the
There
whole
you go.
point. So that's it. You're the.
And I bet I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I don't know. I don't know where my mind was going. So, come on, man. What's the name of the song?
I got Let's Roll.
Uh-huh.
So that's probably that album. So whatever's on that album. Because it says track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5, track 6, track. Yeah.
So we're going to go
Ooh.
number 5.
Number 5. Boom.
I have no idea what song this is.
You want to hear a sample?
Nope. Yes, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Shut it down.
That one?
This is the end.
We can run it. That's I'm glad that I picked that. That was Be My Baby.
Yeah.
That's actually the song that started all of this crazy mayhem that we call Synergy in a Cup, Just Henry, J-Rock Jones moving on up, all that, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he
you
picked
and
me up.
J-Rock aren't together no more?
No, we are.
Okay, good.
This song stemmed from him picking me out the lineup at Crowbar for one of the ciphers, where I'm just sitting there doing my thing with Will, who's been Trill Spill with Will.
Trill Spill with Will.
He's been on the show. Chevy Boy, and then we've had all of that. We were doing our thing. Next thing I know, he said, "Hey man, come through. I need you to sing a hook for me." Sang the hook. Next thing I know, I got a verse. Next thing I know, we got 2 songs. Next thing you know, we got 6 songs. Next thing you know, we're performing, and here we are. And this is a magical day. So we're winding down. We're bringing this to a close. First thing I'm gonna do, Tom. Thank you so much for showing up.
No
Thank
problem.
you for showing out. Thank you for speaking freely. Thank you for everything, man. Thank you for actually caring about people in this city, man.
Yep.
Like, seriously, like, I definitely will fight for you, bro.
I appreciate you.
I got you.
Yeah, we'll get through this.
Yes, man.
And Ybor City's always been good to me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I used to tell people, like, Tampa's okay, but I love Ybor City.
Yeah.
But honestly, the last few years, like, so you can keep Soho. But other than that, man, I do all right with Seminole
Tampa.
Heights and downtown.
Dope.
And, you know, there's a lot of good people and a lot of good business owners.
Yeah.
And just a lot of good folks, man. A lot of
Very
good
good.
artists
Yeah.
in this area.
Yeah.
You know, and if we all stick together,
We gonna get
not
through it.
only will we get through this, but we can get through a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely,
You know?
and get better.
And
Honestly,
get
because
better.
I think that's going to be
Improve, for sure.
I think the rush when it happens, when it does happen, and everything comes back, I think it's going to be crazy to see people actually draw to the music scene again. Hopefully,
And adapt.
Hopefully,
We
it thinks
in the meantime, we need to adapt.
Absolutely,
And that's the thing. Like I said, when I do that thing tomorrow, I did a little PSA at the beginning.
I was just going to say, plug that.
But some of the well, I'm doing the live stream tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, just to kind of try to show people what we're trying to do. Like I said, I didn't really want to do it without an audience, but things have gotten so bad that I was like, I at least need to show other businesses how I've redone my model.
Exactly.
And I want to challenge our different business owners to really adapt to this thing and not and to think outside the box about how they can run their business during this pandemic
Yes, sir.
that is safer than what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
Because we're good, man. I know that there's some good business owners out there. And I'm extremely competitive, so I would say that I'm the best.
That's what's up.
But I know that there's some good ones out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that if we all work together and we think outside the box a little bit, we don't have to shut down entire industries. We can get them all open and we can do it safely. We might.
That's right.
I mean, because the numbers are so out of control, I
Yeah.
know a lot aren't going to want me to say this. I do think that we might have to roll things back for a little bit. But this time around, we need to
do it right.
Get together, knock on the doors of our city officials. When I started talking to the mayor's office, people were like, "How did you get a call at the mayor's office?" I was like, "Because I've been hounding it, man. I've been pressuring it. I didn't. Nobody gave it to me. I went out and took it.
That's right.
You know, and I think that we could take that a step farther with other businesses, and if we really mobilize ourselves, we can help our city leaders by showing them this is how we want to do things.
Right.
And they'll listen to us
Right.
if we
Vocalize.
mobilize and we do it the right way.
Right way. There you go.
And we can get this done. The problem is there's a lot of people that are trying to do it the wrong way.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
we can do it right.
We're gonna motivate people to do it the right way. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, here on Just Chillin', we have a never-ending mantra. All right, we never ever shall stay stagnant. We always are on the move to propel and be better, because today is our preparation for tomorrow. Because guess what? A new endeavor, a new adventure, a new obstacle is there waiting for us. But guess what? The love that you have for yourself shall give you energy. The love you have for your community, your family, shall give you energy to be able to surpass those things. And actually, you know, come out looking wonderful on the other end. Not only for yourself, but for those that you are protecting and providing for. I'm learning this in my fatherdom, my daddy-isms. I'm working through it because I know the better good, the greater good, the greatest good is for them to be the best themselves. I do my best not to infringe or stifle them, but I love them enough to direct them and guide them. But the thing is that love is the core of it all. And I'm going to stop rambling because it's still my show. I could cut myself off whenever I choose because I love y'all. And I want y'all to get some sleep tonight. You know what I mean? Serge,
Chip,
take us home. Y'all be blessed.
Go.
Just chilling.
You take it easy.
All I ask is one.
I told her I was nothing from her past. I mentioned I was a gentleman. I told her slow down, baby, don't move fast. Because I'm into long term. I'm determined to have a picket fence. 2 kids, small dog, a house with no rent. So how could you fit? Be my boo-boo who's school who take intensity from my new dog. It's true that I'm pursuing fame. It's true they hardly know my name. But as I grow, so will I love, because we've been through thick and thin because of trust. And us will soon be a little offspring who pass time playing the Wii. There's no way that we cannot be, because I'm too focused, you completely sing. I told her that we were destined to last, as long as she take heed. I told her I was a random type of man, with more tricks up my sleeve. You kiss me and I should kiss back. You dig me, I love how you act. When you introduce me to your peers, we talk with our ears and block out what we hear. I have tendencies to spaz out to a land where I'm a man and live with no doubt or fear. Let's get one thing clear. I am yours, no one can interfere. And then us will soon be a little offspring who pass the time playing the lead. There's no way that we cannot be because I'm too focused, you completely sing. I know there are times you want to leave. I'm not perfect, somebody's better than me. Well, think of all this time, love, and soul that's giving me a grip so I cannot let go. Think of all the things we planned, the traveling, the anniversaries, gift bags, state fairs, timeshares. Baby, it's not fair. I spent so many nights alone with margaritas and television to block out the fact that you're gone. Please be a dream. When I awake, please be next to me. And then us will soon be a little offspring who pass the time playing the weed. There's no way that we cannot be because I'm too focused, you completely sing.
Baby.